Yeah, that would be bad. You don't want that. Alright, so give me one quick second. I'll be right back. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's stream.
If you're putting your house on the market...
Of course, no, don't do that. I'm Vladimir Ledoux.
I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
And tonight is a very special stream. I am happy to have here Colin from Melessthanthree, the creator of Lucah, Born of a Dream. And we're going to be going through playing some of the game from where the demo lets off and asking all kinds of questions about the game, development, what's in the future. And with that, welcome in, Colin.
Thank you. Yeah, we're starting with the good stuff.
Yes, we are. We're diving right on in.
Going right into spoiler territory.
Yeah. I think I streamed the game twice, to be honest. I think I played it, and then you came in, and then we arranged our previous interview, and I played it again, and I was like, I gotta show something else.
Yeah, if you haven't played the demo by now, what are you doing with your life?
Right? So I guess just to kind of get us all started, do you just kind of want to say what Lucah is? And
yeah, I
kind of
can. I just want to make sure they can hear me, right?
They should be able to hear you.
Okay, cool.
Nightfall is, let me just double check, is volume coming in good? It seemed good on my side. I'm also gonna post.
I'm not doing anything on my end except talking.
So. I know. You just feel kind of helpless at that point. It's all good. Okay, good.
Cool. Yeah, so Lucah, Born of a Dream, and now has a subtitle, is a nightmare action RPG about finding oneself. Pull up the Steam page real quick. I can read for you the much better copy that our producer Kevin Wong made. Lucah, Born of a Dream is an action-adventure game by artist and developer Melessthanthree, blending elements of survival horror, role-playing, and character action games. Lucah, Born of a Dream presents a raw, unfiltered vision of wrath and sorrow. I love that last part.
It's good.
It's good. Lucah, the marked child, is cursed to have their inner demons manifest as nightmarish monsters anywhere they go. Using their magical powers, Lucah must traverse the hellish realm of their dreams, endure the nightmare onslaught, and lift the curse in a quest for purification. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I added that last part.
Oh, it's awesome. So yeah, exclamation point playing gets you the link to the Steam page to wishlist the game. It comes out August 21st.
It will let you know as soon as it goes live, I think.
Yeah, I believe you get an email sent to you that's like, hey, this is now available for purchase and download.
Exactly what time we're launching it. I think it's like noon Eastern time on Tuesday.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it always seems different for everybody, but it's always somewhere around that noonish time.
Sorry, Nightfall saying. Yeah, no, it doesn't release today.
All right, so let's dive.
I almost wish I could release it now, but there's still some things I wanna polish up.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure at this point, like, just the anticipation, you're just like, I'm ready.
Yeah. Honestly, most nervous about is like reviews and stuff, because I know we have like a few in the works.
Yeah.
I've seen one so far. The one I've seen was good, but
well, that's good.
I don't know what everyone else is gonna think.
And as I've said before, like I've talked to a number of guys that have already played. Like SD89 played the other day and loved the game. I think he played it all in one sitting.
Dang.
Yeah, I think he said it was like 7 hours, and he was like, I can't wait to go through on the higher difficulty.
Oh wait, yeah. SD from yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
That was exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, I've and the people in my community that have played the demo, they all love it, and I imagine everything other than, you'll have a couple bugs probably that you said you were talking, but yeah, nothing game breaking.
I'm sorry that the full screen and resolution options are a bit broken right now. It seems to depend on like literally what your machine is, whether it will work or not.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? I have. I'm hoping it's looking okay because there might be black bars. I cannot change it. But yeah,
I mean,
I have that ultra wide screen as well, so that always kind of messes up any game I play.
could you try it like one more time right now?
Yeah, let's see.
Could see.
Full screen. Yeah, I don't have.
Yeah.
I can't change that at all. Now I can force it and go Alt Enter. But it gets a little messed up on my end.
The resolution option?
When I'm in Alt, well, see, it's weird. When I'm in Alt Enter there, now it's windowed. I can actually change it from full screen, but I cannot change my resolution.
So weird.
So, yeah, screen shake I can do, and post processing I can do.
I'm gonna blame Unity for that.
Why not? It's somebody to blame.
my plan tomorrow is I'm gonna just like rewrite how that works and not rely on Unity's resolution data.
Yeah.
To try to force it to work. A max apparently.
Nightfall's already freaking out.
Thing.
Different save files. Yes. I have different files now.
Yeah. So that's good.
So okay, I think the last time I talked to you, is that okay? It's just the torch. Last time I talked to you,
this whole interview talking about boring tech stuff.
Yes, we are.
100%. That's 100% what I've been doing this last week.
Oh, I can. Exciting. Oh yeah, because now you're just in the making everything work, right? So I think the last time I talked to you, and I think I might have said it a couple times, that you're a solo dev team, but I am wrong on that. Who else is a part of Melessthanthree?
Lucah's grown a bit. Now my pal Nico, who does sound design and the music, has kind of been on the project almost since the beginning. But now we have Kevin Wong, he's our producer. He joined in around the Kickstarter, and then came on to be like a full producer at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
To basically do everything that isn't making the game, like getting us on Steam and like getting our paperwork all correct and writing to like press and that stuff like that.
Which is really something you need. I mean, you're trying to do all the other stuff. You need somebody that can like you get to a point where you're like, I need more people.
Like I can if I don't have to worry about like getting people to play the game, I can just focus on making the game good, which has been such a relief.
Oh, I bet.
Kevin also like pulled some, I feel like it's literal magic, and during GDC this year got us in meetings with the big three console people without us having arranged meetings beforehand, and that's how we've gotten forward on that front. I can't confirm Lucah on any console, but like that's definitely like in the works. So
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it will help a lot if we sell a lot in PC, because then I can like use that money to focus on developing the console ports. But I'm not relying on it. Yeah. And then my very good friend Brianna Lay did all the non-game art, which is like the beautiful piece that you put up right at the beginning,
which I love. That is amazing.
She did such a good job. I love it. I love it so much. It's great to see what those characters look like, even outside of my mind, because when I envision them, they just kind of look like a different game.
Yeah.
We spent a few weeks just going back and forth. She was just asking me like, so what color is Lucah's hair? And I had to be like, huh.
It's whatever mantra it is.
Like, what color are their clothes? We figured it out. She did a very good job interpreting it. I love the piece, and I love her for it. And
I just got rocked.
As anyone who's played the demo knows, that's where the demo ends. So, but look at that! Wow, everything's different now.
This is all new.
Our most recent addition to the team has been Ryan Seals, who goes by @CodexEntry on YouTube and Twitter, and they make really good like critical video essays on games. with a big focus on action games of this sort.
Okay.
I originally started talking with them, or just because like I liked the videos, and I was like, "Can you play my game?" And they really liked it. And we met at GDC this past year, talked about working together, and I was like, "Well, you want to put together some cool like trailers for us?" So they did the trailer that you showed at the beginning,
Okay.
the trailer that's going to be launching on launch day, and also basically kind of act as a QA and design consultant for a bit too.
Okay.
Pick the brain a lot, especially for balancing the late game stuff. So yeah, a bit of it's definitely the kind of team where a few of us wear multiple hats. So.
Okay, so now I'm curious if this changed. It was like the second I saw I could come back down here, I was like, I gotta see if this changed.
Don't say anything wrong.
Yeah. So Nightfall's got one. Where did Born of a Dream come from? To my knowledge, that details that is entirely new. Yes, that is a new subtitle to it.
I guess reasons why that I found out during the Kickstarter why I can't call the game just Lucah. I will not say them, though, unfortunately, because it's really not as interesting as it sounds. I couldn't find a name that I liked better, because the name Lucah does have significance to like the game and why I made it and stuff like that. But call it that. So we decided to add a subtitle, and that subtitle is Born of a Dream. Because it kind of hints at what the game is, what the game's world is, and also kind of some like literal story details that come towards the end. But it's vague enough that I can just use it as a subtitle.
Okay.
Oh, I see you have the parasitic virtue equipped.
Yes. I had to. The second I got that, I was like, okay, this is cool. Because so virtues is something that really wasn't in the demo. Like, it was talked about, but there really wasn't. I don't think there was any.
You couldn't get many of them at that point in the game yet.
So I was, the second I could see, like, oh great, I think I have 3 right now. It's like, this is awesome. I'm going to mess around with these and see how this changes the game.
One thing that changed about this area is what you get for completing it, and I can see that you already did it because you have it.
Yeah, that was something I noticed because I could have swore it was another mantra.
Yeah.
And so when all of a sudden I saw that it was a virtue, I was like, okay, that's different.
The mantra's still there in the game, obviously. It's just you get it somewhere else now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Last round already, which is good. Oh, so I guess I can kind of talk about things that have changed since a year ago, which you've kind of noticed.
Yes.
People who are just looking at the game, and these are things that they want to pick up. So that's where you would have gotten the virtue that
yes, which I already got, which I can show to you
the
all.
The Bloodborne, if you get hit,
yes,
back
for brief time of taken damage, you get to recover lost health.
So in Lucah, your moveset is dictated by these things called mantras, right? You know, it's visibly shown by like your color. And yeah, there's the little text when you change. If you have trouble distinguishing colors, like I do at times. Properties, like they're like attack range and speed, and like they're literal like animations and stuff like that. 2 of them at the same time, and then that's called a paradigm. And then you can equip 2 paradigms at the same time that you switch between using the left trigger, which is called a paradigm shift. And so the first mantra is your main mantra, and that determines your light attacks and what your hold action is, which is like what your charge attack is if you hold the attack button down. And then the second one determines your heavy attacks, which is a totally new thing. Before, it was just what your main mantra was, and then your secondary applied an effect to it.
Yeah, I noticed that was new too.
Now you get basically way more varied movesets, and you get the passive of both mantras. So right now Vlad is using the Anima and the Arrow. Anima increases your attack speed, Arrow increases your attack range. So Vlad has both range and the attack speed. Yeah.
So that's the attack speed. Of course, I need stamina before I start showing my attack speed.
Yeah. The one comparison that still stands about how this game is Souls-like is that there is a stamina bar.
Yeah, and I mean, you just that's what you get when you have a game that just kind of took the whole industry by storm.
It's got a lot of good ideas.
It does. So let's see. We had a couple here. What was that?
C1 is very great. I've been replaying it recently.
DMC1. I haven't played a Devil May Cry game since because it originally came out on PS2,
yeah,
right?
2001 was the first one.
God, I feel old. It was over 15 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah.
So there's a few different versions of the demo. Was there anything you scrapped from the demos? It's one of them.
Well, like I said, some of the pickups have changed. Like
yeah, pickups.
I think I've scrapped. Like it's just been like added to.
Okay.
Like even the enemies work differently now. In like the demo a year ago, like enemies, like the only way to stagger them was to either like attack them while they were attacking, or to parry them.
Mm-hmm.
You can stun lock enemies if you deal enough damage to them quick enough. That varies from enemy to enemy, but like that's a entirely new mechanic.
Okay.
There's a visual indicator with like the break or the parry effect.
Yes.
That you see like in literal text, because I want to spell it out for you.
I don't think I saw the break when. I don't think that was there when I last played it. I think it was just parry. So something I wanted to do, but I did not get the chance to, but I want to kind of talk a little about them, is you made two kind of companion games to the universe, essentially. Am I understanding that right? It was the Sacrament series.
Yeah, I don't want to tip my hand too much, but they're a bit more than companion games.
Okay. Because I know one's like a visual novel kind of.
Yeah, well, they're both text based. It's just one has RPG battles in it.
Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to stream those before we got to this interview and kind of get hyped for it, and life got in the way.
It's okay. This might be tipping my hand too much, but you definitely don't need to play them before playing this.
Okay. Is there any way, without I guess going into too much spoilers, on how they kind of expand Lucah?
They are essentially short stories that take place in Lucah's world.
Okay.
Like give some extra character and backstory. Lore, I guess, is the parlance that people use in games nowadays.
Yeah.
Also, being like tone pieces in their own way. They let me do like fill out the world in a way that I can't really with the 2D top down stuff.
Okay.
Because there's a lot going on.
There is. There definitely is. Let's see. Of the mantras in the game, I found Anima and Pyra were my two main mantras in the demo. Branching off that, did you playtest it yourself to see and if so, what did you find to be your favorite setup?
I don't know if it's just because I was excited or whatever, but I've definitely gravitated towards using most of the mantras that you get like way later in the game.
Yeah.
So I won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But I guess like of the demo stuff, Anima Arrow is my favorite early game setup. Luna Pyra. I will use Pyra as my main for like boss fights because if you use its hold attack on a broken enemy, it does a ton of damage. But I find it kind of hard to use personally otherwise. It's just not my style. Of it though.
Okay.
I remember, Vlad, you liked it a lot during the demo.
I did.
Yeah.
And I remember it took a little bit to like really figure out how to utilize it, but I liked it.
It's funny, like that and Thanatos, which was in the demo, are like the two slowest mantras, and they're ones that I like using the least because of that. But they're often ones I see people use just because they love the sheer damage output, which is fair.
I think the other thing with me is as much as I want to play fast, like I like anima for like my light-handed attacks, but like it's the same way I play Dark Souls. Like I get my ass handed to me if I'm aggressive. And having those slower moves really makes me be more calculated in how I play, so that way I'm not just constantly dying.
It's definitely the smarter way to play. I like just like running up against things and dying. So I reset a lot.
Yeah, this is new. I did not know there were shops.
Yeah.
All right.
Little merchant character. Tax being grayed out. I will just point it out right now. It's a bug. I'm working on it.
Okay. I was like, I wasn't gonna say something, but
no, someone else pointing it out on a stream earlier today, and I had to be like, oh,
you know what? If that's the worst of your bugs, like you getting these little things that like it's not breaking the game, I'd say you're good. So Ledlove, viewer of mine, had submitted a question. He's wondering what language you used and if you used a specific engine or did you create your own?
I'm Unity and C#. I consider myself a programmer, but I'm not like that hardcore of a programmer to like make my own engine or whatever.
Familiar Garden? Wait, I think I remember seeing something on Twitter about that. Was that in the demo?
Yeah. Well, it was in one of the demos. I took it out eventually.
See, I only played the first, like, that time we talked, and after that I was like, I'm not playing Lucah again until it comes out.
He did good.
It was hard, because I would talk to, Nightfall specifically, would talk to me all the time. He's like, I'm playing, and I'm like, God, I really want to play more, but I'm going to wait.
No. That's great, though. Man, just because Doom Stricken has said, Colin, I want you to know that I keep trying to do the Lucah parry and Bayonetta. And to that I say, I'm sorry, especially because Bayonetta's control scheme is basically the same as Lucah's.
Oh, really?
Need changes. I guess I should say Lucah's is the same as Bayonetta, but I'm going to take credit for it.
Why not?
Your game has sunk its triple teeth into my muscle memory. Thank you.
Okay, and I also remember you about going on about the train. There's just little bits over the last year of watching everything. The trains are awesome.
So I guess here's a exclusive, dev exclusive. I love trains. Like not as much anymore, but when I was a kid, I was obsessed with trains. Like I used to have like those like wooden, I forget the brand, but you know, like the ones that you could like arrange into tracks and like.
Oh yeah, my son's got hundreds of them.
It was me, like from age 2 to like 6 or something. I guess until Pokemon came out, and then that was my obsession.
Yeah.
It was to the point where I remember, like, I have a distinct memory of being like 3 years old, or you know, like very young, and my dad bringing me to like this one train crossing the town over to see like a big like freight engine go by, and it was like one of the best days of my life. Just seeing a big real train. Now I'm an adult, and my experience with trains is riding them to go to work or whatever. So they crept into Lucah through that combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, another one we got. My Pudding wanted me to ask you what direction you went in the game and why? So, I tried to get clarification on
artistic direction or something?
Yes, that's what I'm assuming he means.
So, I've talked about this before, but I've never really, I guess not often. I don't think I ever like write it down anywhere. But Lucah started like taking shape. I sort of wanted to make this like story game with this like character action element where the two kind of influence each other in that the game kind of starts as a survival horror-ish game, but as you go on, a lot of that stuff, or like Soulsy survival horror-ish, whatever you want to say, it's like slower and more like there's more dread. But as you get further and get more powerful and get more used to the game, you get more confident in yourself. You kind of it kind of becomes more of a character action game along the lines of something like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. And the whole purpose was I really wanted to emphasize like the player's own journey of like getting better, both thematically, narratively, mechanically, the play experience, that sort of thing. Like what you just did was cool as heck. You wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago.
No, not at all.
So it's working. That's I think the driving force behind Lucah.
I think the thing I'm finding, and because I'm working with that virtue of adaptive.
Adaptive brings it all together.
And that really does, like, if you can nail that paradigm shift right at the end of that last hit of your combo, and then to have stamina again to where you can just run into a whole nother combo.
Before you go into the next combat, I noticed you have Sure, I guess you're already in combat.
Yep.
I noticed you have the don't virtue off.
Did I? I had one virtue off because I didn't have enough. Oh, now I have enough. That I didn't before.
Yeah, because you bought a virtue.
That's right, I did.
I see. Yeah, because the parasitic and adaptive would have been 10. Yeah.
Yeah, because when we started, that's where I was at.
I thought you just wanted to be hardcore about it.
I could be hardcore about it.
There's so many things in this game that make the game really, really easy if you wanted to. And I just decided to keep that in because I figured people will make their own difficulty.
I like the way you did difficulty in this, which I don't think anyone I've touched on, but like you can change it at any time, and you have what sin affects the
yeah, it's like enemies and you,
and then punishment is how much damage you deal or you take. Yeah. And so I like that you can really customize how you want to play.
Myself on the back too, because sin actually does a bit more than just like enemies.
Okay.
It also like it makes them smarter, and some other things that tie into how New Game Plus works.
Okay.
Punishment is relatively boring compared to that.
So Penta brings up a question, is actually one I was going to ask you too, is so Lucah's got some really unique art. It's personally, that's what captured me. It's exactly what captured me, because I remember seeing the picture on Twitter and was like, okay, that is unique. I need to see what this is. And essentially, how did you land on this style? And then also, how has it evolved over the time of actually making Lucah?
Sorry, I keep starting everything with years ago now, I made a game called Comforting Sounds, which was the first game I ever sprited myself, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
The way I usually start my prototypes is with like a plain black screen, and then like putting like cubes and stuff over it. I wanted to have real art. I was tired of doing like programmery stuff where you like don't use art or you like rip assets from other games or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just started like I'm gonna make some like tiny pixel characters, you know, like nothing bigger than like 32 by 32 pixels. We're real tiny. You can make it in MSP. Decided to just start just by like like sketching like the just the outlines, so I wasn't gonna worry about shading or coloring or anything like that. Just a plain white outline, and I put it in the game to test it out, and I actually really liked how it looked. I was like, oh, this is neat for it. So Comforting Sounds was like pretty simple. Like there's one character and then like some like enemies that were like different colors, but everything had the or like the colored outline over black fill. And I kept with that. I Am Not a Machine is an example of me using that style in a action game. And then this was like, well, I'm gonna turn I Am Not a Machine into a much bigger game. It went from being a shooter to a melee fighter, which was a good idea because I think it came out way more interesting. And basically all the evolution of the style happened here. So it's things like the sort of like undulating outlines.
Mm-hmm. Enterprise.
There's some like post-processing happening on the colors and like emphasizing the contrast between like the outlines and the black background. And of course all the like animated effects and whatever, like that's definitely like an improvement. And I also for this game essentially learned how to animate, which was not really a thing.
Okay.
It was like simple like 1 or 2 frame things, and now there's like real animation and animation controllers and things like that.
Little one here.
Happenstance. I didn't know how to draw and I really leaned into it.
I think it definitely gives it that, like, to me, that the unique, it sets it aside. I could see some people being like, what, there were people that I've talked to who are like, I don't know, man, look at the graphics are really weird. And I was like, give it a shot, the gameplay is solid.
I mean, they're not wrong, it is weird. That's
I don't know.
More than hurt us, thankfully.
That's good. That was gonna be my next one, is like, how has that played out for you?
I had one experience where I was talking with a potential publisher that was like, we don't know how we would market this. And I was like, that's fair. And then that basically led to me like really like going hard into it and basically like stuff that make the game look like how it looks now, as opposed to how it looked like, you know, like when it was just outlines on a black background.
Yeah. So yeah, Nightfall. Screen shake, you can turn it off. You can reduce it. So that is an option. And then let's see.
There's a low option if you want.
Yeah, I think it was. What is it? Low or is it important? Or am I thinking of a different game? Low. Okay. Yeah. So you can have it on, off, or low. Oh. Go to sleep.
You should see some of my other games though. Comparatively, Lucah has very little screen shake. That was like the one thing that I wasn't very good at. I would over apply it.
Oh yeah, just go crazy with it.
It was just like when I learned how to do some of these things, I was like, oh, that's why these games are cool. like another one thing is like when you like freeze character animation for a split second when there's an impact or hit or something. Those are the sort of things I really liked doing in games, and I think that's what drove me to start making action games. That being said, I'm not sure I will work on an action game next. Because I basically made, like, this is like my last action game, at least for a few years.
Yeah. Yes, Vlad, the baby is awake, and she is letting me know that she is not happy right now.
Sorry, baby. This game's not meant for children. Like it could be.
Oh god, I remember just anecdotally here, my first son, I realized I couldn't play certain games around him at a point when I was playing Hotline Miami, and he started laughing when I was bashing a dude's head in. Like, saw all the blood and was like, I don't think I can play this anymore.
That's kind of sad, but I understand it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is, you gotta wait till you go to bed. A request a baby slider. I wish. Let's see, where else are we? Okay, so I think we touched a little bit on it. Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, pretty much your big influences for this game? Were there any others?
So, now that the game's basically done, I can just go like full on reveal everything mode. I used to say that like Bloodborne was a big inspiration for the game, but I think really what I realized was it's not Bloodborne that was the inspiration. It was me watching videos of people playing Bloodborne. So I ended up liking that more than the actual experience of playing games like that.
Okay.
And it was kind of me being like, I want to do that, but like my own version, because I don't like about it. I want to change. But aesthetically, this game is not anything like that. I think in that vein, I draw more on like kind of the influence of like how do you say it, like horror RPG Maker games, or like non-traditional RPGs made in RPG Maker, like Off or Unity, that kind of stuff. I think is like the closest lineage aesthetically that I drew influence from. Now, like there are games that have come out since I like was working on Lucah that vaguely look like it. Like I think like Goner is an example of a game that looks like this.
I can see that.
Faith, which came out at Shio. I haven't actually played it, but it's like seen screenshots. Those are not like influences, but I think they like draw from a pretty like similar, at least like artistic background or influence or something like that. I think there's some more subconscious influences at play here that don't really show through unless you like really look hard for it, like Cave Story, because every indie game is kind of influenced by Cave Story in some way. Nuclear Throne, which was the impetus for like starting this game in the first place, even though none of the mechanics that were inspired by Nuclear Throne really made it except for the leveling up, which I kind of liked the choice of 4 semi-random upgrades rather than a skill tree or something like that.
Yeah, I like it too. It works out really well.
Thank you. It's less cumbersome. I was playing a game the other day that had a skill tree for the first time in a while, and I like when I first got to it, I was just like, oh, there's too much decision making for me right now. I don't play video games to work, you know.
Yeah, no, I
some people do, which
that.
is totally legitimate, but
I think as I've gotten older and now that I got a kid and stuff, it's like, no. If I have to grind, which sucks because like I love a lot of RPG, like JRPGs especially, but like I'm to the point now it's like I just don't have it in me to do the grind anymore.
I'm excited to finish Lucah because I want to do something really ridiculous, like play through the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy or something. We would not have had time for otherwise.
So Jonas Fatson is wondering, are you demoing at PAX or Bit Summit or any
I am not.
conventions coming up?
I'm sorry, I'm not popular enough for those.
I know you went to E3. You were outside at E3 though, right?
Showed at the Indie Mix at E3 this year, which is not E3, but it's like an after event at E3 that a lot of people go to.
Okay.
That was cool. We got put in a corner, which was not cool. But we had it was on like a rooftop venue, which was neat. Down LA. And everyone who like found their way to our corner like seemed to like the game, so a backdrop for Lucah. Lucah is definitely the sort of experience though that you want to experience like alone in a dark room, or maybe not dark, with headphones or something.
I can see that, yeah. Like the convention setting, as great as it is to get the notoriety, I think this game shines kind of like you said, that alone, where it's just you in the game.
Yeah. So I see a comment in the chat from Doom saying, I got a Virtue that was just DMC3. And I'm curious which one it is, because I can't actually think off the top of my head which one that would be. So anyways, Doom, leave a comment.
me see.
Anyways.
Like smaller skill trees, like in Divine Divinity, but skill trees ability kill Diablo 2
do you
for
like
me.
that pause? Do you like how you can pause now?
Yes, because that was something that we couldn't do before
that
either.
Is a feature.
You know, it's important. As I
Yeah.
got, I am playing, so if I start playing really bad, it's because I have my daughter in my arms as I'm playing with the controller.
You're doing very well. We decided to put in the most complicated level in the game right after where the demo ends to make sure that if you're there, you're really in it to win it. So.
I noticed something else you put in that. I think I was the one that pushed pretty hard for that, and it's that lovely map.
There's a map, yeah.
Because I think I was like, I'm getting lost, man, and I don't know why. Like as I go back and play the demo, I'm like, there's or like the beginning, I'm like, there's really no way to get lost. I don't know what I was saying, but I'm really glad you put this in.
When it's all new to you, like especially if you're getting used to the art style and stuff, it's a lot to take in. I get it.
And I think that's what got me was I was still trying to get used to like the boundaries and understanding where I can go and and getting the visual cues of each different area that you walk to.
Yeah, and like where like the scene triggers are and things like that. It's something you kind of have to learn. Yeah.
So I was really happy when I saw that. I was like, I suggested that a lot.
But no, it sure is there. I'm glad people notice it too, because there's no like explicit tutorial or anything to be like, hey, there's a map.
Yeah.
It's just an option in the menu.
Yeah, he got that hit off on that one too. Jeez. I think the thing I like with this game is
fight if you don't want to. You're doing good.
I think the thing I enjoy with this is like each new character like learning what their tell is. The only downside to that is like that learning period can really fuck you up.
This is supposed to be a very difficult room. There's also no barriers in it, so you can totally skip it if you want. That's called level design.
Let's see. So what else I got? Okay, I did. I managed to make it. So you did Kickstarter for this. How was your experience with that? Did any of it surprise you? Were you expecting anything different out of it?
I mean, I had heard that running a Kickstarter was hard, and like I kind of knew that going in. And like the parts that were hard were the things that you sort of would expect, like the getting people to talk about it, and how there's there's usually like a lull in the middle of the month that you need to like really power through because it can be really disheartening. Even though it's just kind of what happens with your average Kickstarter campaign thing that I experienced that I did not expect. And I forgot if I talked about this at all during the last interview, but we got multiple people who would pledge like very large pledges. $1,000 was usually the number. And I get so excited when I saw that. It's like, whoa, that's an extra like good percentage towards our goal, stuff like that. And then the next day they would rescind the pledge.
Yeah, I've heard of that happening with a fair amount of Kickstarters, and it's like it's got to be completely disheartening as a dev going in there and seeing like, hey, yeah, you see that and you go, oh my god, that is an amazing amount of help, and then to see it just go away, and you're like, I would imagine that until the campaign's done, you really can't get excited about anything.
Oh, there's someone asking if they should restart the stream. You're fine from now because we started in the middle of the game anyway. So you have all the time.
No.
So I'm sorry I made the baby cry talking about Kickstarter because I'm getting to the really depressing part, which is
I put her down.
the part about people dropping their pledges is it messes with your like pledge projections.
Okay.
Because they'll see very big drops in a day and think like, oh, that's the trend. So like you're gonna like lose money.
Oh.
Which is not helpful at all.
No.
So it's bad. Don't do that, even if you think it's funny. I don't know why people do that. Like I get like if you like pledge money and then realize that you're gonna be struggling and then rescind that. I get that, but I feel like people who are in that situation aren't gonna be pledging $1,000. No. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yes, after 4 hours of streaming, I still want to play more. Yeah. No idea what that counter is, and I remember he wouldn't tell me in the demo either. You were like, "Yeah, you told me in the demo that it didn't do anything yet, but that it would do something."
It does
so
now. The corruption is growing, and it will not stop unless you find a way.
So that is absolutely something I'm like, okay, I want to see what happens once this thing hits 100%.
You have to find your salvation, or damnation is nigh.
Damn, I had a whole lot of... What's the currency in this one called? Okay. Kid, sit in one spot. Thank you. Perceptive seems nice, but I just keep avoiding. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Usually that's one that people pick up first.
I feel like in games when I can see what, like, okay, how much life do they have? Like, I just end up focusing on that, and especially games so combo oriented, like, I'll end up forgetting, like, wait, no, I need to be paying attention to what my character's currently doing, as opposed to, hey, this guy's got like 20% health left.
I want to comment on things that I kind of skipped over. Hi, my name is Matt, saying, I like how there's minimal healing, so you need to learn how to play the game. Yeah, exactly. That's why the rewinds are the more numerous resource.
That was something I noticed right away, is all of a sudden I saw there's healing potions. I was like, well, that's new.
Because it's like, I get it. It's hardcore to just not have any healing, but...
Yeah.
Anyways, also, Jonas saying, you can rescind a kick, my bad kicks that went nowhere. I'm just talking about the pledges that,
Yeah, so, like, you can change, until the Kickstarter reaches its completion, you can change your pledge and rescind it at any time. Until it has reached, like, the charge date. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I think, there's some restrictions in, like, the last few days if the Kickstarter, like, has hit its goal, but is not, like...
Yeah, it's still going.
Like that. Yeah.
I think it's as long as it hasn't hit its goal.
Then, hi, my name is Matt. Also said I was going to start a Kickstarter for an action game too. Do you have any specific advice about that? So one thing I learned about Lucah, it's very good to have a demo. If you do not have a demo, people probably will not pledge to your Kickstarter, but you cannot rely on the demo because very few people will actually play it. Like seeing that you have a good demo more than they will actually play it, which stinks. I guess the takeaway from that is, like, just make sure you have a good looking demo that also holds up, but don't overextend yourself in making it super extensive or something. Just make it like what it needs to be to show off your game, and that, like, it's real and that people can trust you to make the game. I think those are my takeaways about that. And also send the game to as many people that you think will be interested as possible. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean send it to popular people just because they're popular. Send it to people who are interested in the kind of game you're making, because that will be much more effective. I mean, that's how I met Ryan, who ended up working on the game, like I talked about before.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, people do that on Twitch too. Yeah, the chargebacks on there. Are you going to look at pursuing a physical release a la limited run or indie box?
Yeah, maybe. I think the current priority right now is, first I need to fulfill all the Kickstarter rewards that aren't just the game. There's some, like, content updates coming and stuff concerning that. Console ports. I also have some interest in trying a mobile port.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Look into that. Yeah, it would have to be, like, kind of simplified, or like maybe do, like, a semi-automatic type control scheme, like the super easy modes in Platinum games are, where you kind of just play it with one button. It might have to be something like that. And then after all that, I'll see if opportunity comes up. I think we talked to someone with Limited Run, but it didn't really go anywhere. I don't think they were very interested in us yet. For a lot of that kind of stuff, usually you have to like reach a certain threshold of popularity or interest. And you know, like I'm not oblivious. I know that like we're still a very relatively niche project.
I think if the big thing to me was kind of going to talk. This went to the exact same spot. Talking about how you were saying with the demo. I think that was the big thing that I pushed when I was talking about the game. Was like, all right. I was like, yeah, art's a little weird. Which I personally love. I love weird. It's like weird little games are totally my thing. So it's like that. Like I said, I mean that's what drew me to it. But I would always be like, try the demo because the gameplay is solid. It's the combo. Every part of it works so flawlessly that I'm like, that alone is going to get you hooked into this game. If you can figure with the art, I was like, the gameplay is great, and to me, it shows right there. It's like if you focus on actually having a game that plays well, it's going to make it that much better.
I think that's what made the weird art choice more of a helpful thing than a harmful thing. Like it could have been. Mm-hmm. Because we had a game to back it up, so even if you thought like the art wasn't very good or your style or whatever, you know, at least it could be like, but it's still like a sick action game.
Yeah, no, and the fighting is just so satisfying.
I spent a lot of time on that, so I hope so.
Okay, I have to sleep so I can function at work tomorrow. I don't know if my question got eaten or what. Oh, did it? And then everything's going by so fast.
Is there a question in the chat that we missed?
I'm scrolling. I don't see it. Maybe it didn't get through.
Or something.
AE2501, if you can try it out. Yeah, I think I don't know if it just even didn't come through. I'm not seeing it on my end.
Yeah, copy paste if you could.
So yeah, we'll just wait for that one. Let's see what else was. It was long. Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't know. Maybe it just did. Maybe the internet just ate it.
That was.
Oh, it could have gotten. Yeah, if it was long, when Twitch does cut it off, I'm blocked. Okay, I'm not supposed to be here yet, I guess.
Could you like copy paste it in a few messages?
Okay. Well, now the train. Oh, I gotta go up here. Okay. I don't know if it's a good one. I watched the half-coordinated stream, some of the game, and I noticed a lot of comments calling the story edgelordy, which made me pretty sad. I didn't feel comfy bringing that up as someone not a regular in the chat, but it bothered me, especially having to talk to you about the game for a while and not seeing it that way at all. I hadn't even considered that interpretation, so I wonder if you'd given any thought about how to speak to those criticisms of the story at all.
I would say that the story definitely draws it away from there. I could totally see that being a like first impression sort of thing, though. I think that's kind of fair. That's sort of like a thing that people kind of see when it's like there's like cute characters in a weird setting. They immediately assume it's like a Dogi Dogi Panic or whatever that was called, Dogi Dogi Leisure Club kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not though. I'm not really trying to subvert anything here. Like this is just kind of acting on my influences in that way. But the game overall has a very optimistic message to it, even if the world it exists in is, you know, full of dread. But also, like, I could see myself kind of getting sad about that. Wow, you took down that boss real quick.
I did.
There aren't any dead fetuses or anything. Yeah, I don't know. Sad, but because I'm kind of just like, this is just like what my brain put out. I wasn't trying to offend anyone or whatever.
Yeah.
In that way. widespread interpretation thing. So
It's kind of tough. I mean, like you can look at just about any media out there. People are going to read into it however they want to read into it, and it's kind of, I feel like you're going to run into that no matter what.
I think I will say the biggest difference I think between something that's trying to be edgy and what Lucah is doing is that often things that are trying to be edgy, at least my take on it, is often they punch down, right, or go down to like easy targets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or like kind of like focus on making fun of or like doing violence against like the vulnerable, the outsider or something, and Lucah's very not that. Lucah is a very oppressive world, but the oppressors of that world represent like real life forces of like dominance and power that exert themselves over others, and it's about like triumphing and living through that, which is a very not media type of thing, I think. That's what I have to say there.
Welcome in, SD. It is going well. Trying to shove it all in one question, flooding the chat with multiple. That's all right.
It's all good. I'm glad you brought it up because I had not seen that. And I'm curious because I haven't really heard that, so somewhat nervous about how this game will be received by a wider audience. Kind of for like reasons like that, but anyways, that was my very long take about why Lucah isn't actually very edgy.
Will you get to fight 100 of the easiest enemies during the end credits?
Oh, sorry. The end credits are good though, like the end credits. I won't say why.
Okay. Alright, so something I'm wondering. So no matter how small, or even if it's something that's hidden, is there something within the entirety of Lucah that you're just super proud of as a developer?
I mean, the fact that it exists is something to be pretty proud of, I think. Something small. I can't really elaborate on one of the things I think I really like about the game without major spoilers. But I do think the way the game handles its different endings is really cool, and also not really something a lot of people would be brave enough to do, probably, making their games for a wider audience. But I went for it, and people don't hate me who have played the game yet, so that's good.
All right, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go hand my daughter to my wife.
Maybe. Questions or whatever they could say. ST's asking, now that I'm on New Game Plus, what can I expect? The real game to start. I won't say anything more, but yeah, you're in for a real treat. I designed the game kind of with the intention that the first playthrough is sort of a, like, the entirety of it is a tutorial. You gain mechanics all the way up to almost literally the end. So enjoy. Yeah, it is awesome. I'm a bit biased, but I think it's true. The color palette. That's a good question because I know very little about color theory or whatever, so it was really just what looked good to me. I think making the enemies red was sort of a thing that I thought looked cool, and also communicated that, like, oh yeah, there's danger or whatever. Some enemies are purple for a story reason, but also because it's close to red, so it kind of reads as still dangerous. Went light blue for the character because I just liked how that looked. It's not because of Hyperlight Drifter, I swear. And also, I mean, you changed the colors with the mantras, and for all the mantra colors, I basically just picked things that I thought looked okay with the style. And then having NPCs be like yellow or other colors that aren't white helps distinguish them from the background. And then when everything else is white, that went well, you know. So I was just talking about how I chose the colors.
Okay, sorry about that. She just all of a sudden decided she was hungry.
Yeah.
Gotta love newborns. I've seen games with a minimal color choice like this struggle with people with certain color blindness. Is there options to make it easier for people affected? That's a good question.
There's no explicit options for it, but everything that needs to be communicated, that is communicated through color, which is basically the mantras, is also communicated through text. So that was hopefully my workaround.
Was there any thought into when you were choosing your color palette on just trying to find stuff that would work?
Wanted to make sure there was a contrast between things. The only part where that really fails majorly is that there's a mantra that turns you red unless the enemies are red, but I thought that was kind of cool thematically, so I kept it. And that's why there's the text to show what mantra it is you're using. You just got to the first rival fight, which is really cool. I'm excited to see how you do.
It is intense.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. There's also an option to turn off the post-processing, which kind of depends, which might help if people have trouble distinguishing colors. I just haven't been able to actually test that. Yeah, someone's asking about the interface in the corners mean. Bottom right is your law, which is the experience currency. Bottom left is the items like the rewinds or the healing. Boss fight, and then the corruption percentage. Something happens when it hits 100%. You do not want it to hit 100%. And then top left is all the player stuff. He said, I found the healing familiar really OP, and to that I said, good, it is definitely there for people who need it. I am really bad at using the healing familiar because I'm just not used to having it. So
I keep remembering it's there, and then I keep forgetting to use it. I don't know how I remember that time.
The healing item?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a familiar you get later in the game that kills you.
Oh.
So that's another one of the rare healing options. Yeah, leveled up your game since last year.
I know, last year I was bad last time we played.
Yeah, some good fun moments, guys.
That fucking familiar keeps getting me.
Yeah, you gotta look out. That laser attack. Normal, right?
Yeah, I'm on normal. Normal. Okay,
Who made the soundtrack? My good friend Nicolo Teleska. I think it's...
soundtrack, I don't know if it was me. It got really loud for the rival fight. But it's good.
Yeah.
How do you like games that integrate healing into the combat mechanics such as Gear Rising?
Stuff. Have a good one.
See you, Jonas.
Yeah, I was trying to find a link for our composer, but I think he took his Bandcamp down until the soundtrack comes out.
Ah, okay. I was trying to find it the other day too. And
Yeah,
I was like, Where is it?
Yeah, so look out for that on Tuesday. I'll definitely post the link everywhere. I think you can skip these cutscenes now if you've seen them once before.
Yep. Okay.
You press start. Yeah, there you go.
You won't tell us, Bestie. You gotta get there. Get there in New Game Plus.
100%. Oh no, Esty, that is what you saw what happened. You're right. From what I saw, was because you got the 100%. Should still be up. The link is Nico, can you Facebook message me the link to the Bandcamp? I know you can't post links in chat.
Oh, if
anyways.
Nightfall's still here, he could permit him to do so.
But yeah, Nico does have a SoundCloud too, which has like preview tracks. If you search Nicola Teleska Sound Design on SoundCloud, you can find it. I'm trying to keep up with chat. You're having a very good fight here, so I don't want to distract you too much.
Yeah, but it's the one part of the interview. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be quiet now. Here I am, the interviewer.
Right.
All right, that was intense.
Oh, nice. Yeah, 2 tries is pretty good. Yeah, you did. You saw the 100% ending. So I encourage you to try to find the not 100% ending. Anyways, this is obviously not a permadeath game. So what kind of obvious death penalties are there? Well, edge. Yeah, so not the mystery percent. I mean, you get sent back to your last save point, but literally the big penalty is the percentage, and it has like major, both story and like game impact. So.
And I noticed it's constantly ticking, and I don't remember it doing that in the demo.
It did. It was just very slow. I increased it.
Okay. Just got hit by a train.
Yeah, but you're fine.
I am fine. So, all right, something I think I asked you the last time, and it's something I'm always curious with developers because I know they don't often get to play a whole lot of games, especially with how busy you are currently. But if you have been playing games, what have you been playing?
I'm still playing Bayonetta. I think I said that last time.
You did say that last time. You also listed off a couple really cool ones that I put on my
indie games. Yeah,
I put on my list on itch, but I don't think I got around to trying them out yet.
So I want to plug my friends' games again.
Yeah, that's fine.
So John Thayer, who I mentioned last year, made Kikai, released an RPG called Facets very recently, which is a boss rush RPG that has the design sensibilities of a Resident Evil in that it has very limited healing and is 100% possible to save yourself into a unwinnable situation, which is awesome. It's super hardcore and it has a story to match it. I haven't actually finished it yet, John, I'm sorry, but I'll get around to it once the game's done. Also, something I played very like today, while I had a spare moment, and I guess disclaimer, it's by someone who's reviewing Lucah, and we like kind of consider each other internet friends, so I mean, take that as you will, but it's a game called Fishing Minigame 2, by the screen name is like Skitty Dreamer or something like that, like S City, or from what I remember. It's a sequel to Fishing Minigame, which was a visual novel about an RPG hero who, you know, does a fishing minigame instead of the actual quest. It's good, but the sequel is like an RPG visual novel type thing. Like, you know, it's like presented like top down, like the game like this. And the story is conveyed entirely through a set narrative that at certain points you can input a password to branch the narrative. And as you play the game multiple times, you learn new passwords that do new things, and it's really cool. And there's like 26 different outcomes. I've found like 4 of them so far. So I hope, Dari, if you're listening, it's a really cool game. I'm excited to play the rest of it. I guess for other games, I played a tiny bit of Death's Gambit, which is also made by a friend of mine I went to school with. A 2D side-scrolling Souls-like. It's very good. It's got
I've heard it's
cool
good.
combat. Yeah.
I don't think I was supposed to get a code here, or maybe I was. And I don't remember seeing one anywhere.
There's a code for you. You would not have seen it yet. your exploring has led you down an unfortunate path. That being said, you're supposed to die to the first fight, so the fact that you got through it is pretty cool. This one.
Well, now I'm determined.
I want to say, so the key artist for this game, Brianna Lay, I admire her work very, very much, and it's not recent, but she has 2 big games out. One of them is Butterfly Soup, which is a visual novel about 4 Asian teen girls growing up in NorCal around like 2008. And it's like a you know, a nice like teen story about first loves and stuff.
Okay.
Like almost sort of biographically about you know, girls coming to terms with I mean they're all gay or bi, so it's about like growing up LGBT and stuff like that. It's literally one of the funniest games I've ever played. Her writing is very, very good. She's texting me right now, saying I don't have to plug it, but I am. Play that. That came out after our last interview last year, so I didn't have a chance to talk about it.
Okay.
As for games that friends of mine didn't make that I think are good, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry 1, 3. Tried a bit of Dead Cells. It's all right.
You know, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I enjoy it, but like, I don't know. I really wanted a Metroidvania roguelite. Like, I mean, it's really, and to me, it's more of just an action platformer. Just it doesn't have the giant open world that you, like. I don't know. I don't know how you would do that because I'm not a programmer, and I could only imagine how daunting it would be to procedurally generate a giant map every single time.
What like Chasm's like big selling point is that it's an entirely procedural Symphony of the Night type thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun little action game.
It's fun. I'm really disappointed. The attack animation for the starting weapon is really bad, which gave it like a really unfortunate first impression for me. And then I found a weapon that had a much better attack animation, which made me think like, oh, like they can be good. So I don't know.
A robot named Fight with the route of going to a smaller procedural world for a Metroid style. Oh yeah, that's right. A robot named Fight was pretty good too. If you're looking for that Metroidvania.
Apparently not. I'm just like not that into Metroidvanias. I've never played Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night though, so I don't know.
Yeah. See, I mean that was just staples that I grew up on. I love them to this day. But I can see how they're not for everybody. A lot of the backtracking is really a big turnoff to people. And it's funny that I'm sitting here saying how much I love Metroidvanias when earlier was like, I don't like the grind and I just want to get to the action.
Tastes have definitely changed over the years. I used to like only play JRPGs and now I kind of like only play hardcore action games. And I'm slowly shifting into like only playing visual novels. It's weird. Never played Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night. You can burn me at the stake if you want, but like I'm not making Metroidvanias, so it's not like I need to.
Yeah.
Anyway. I mean, I made a Souls-ish kind of game without actually finishing a Souls game, and I think it's more interesting because of that.
I've never finished one either. They're fun. I enjoy them.
The baby doesn't approve of my video game.
She's wide awake. Yeah. It's hot as hell here. We've been just having one hell of a summer here up in Washington, and all she wants to do is be held.
It's been bad down here in SoCal too, but like at least it's like not.
Ooh, there it is.
Empanados. Yeah. Nico really likes Symphony of the Night, and because of that, I will play it at some point and probably fall in love with the genre. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Okay, so
Try Hollow Knight too because it looks neat.
Hollow Knight is really good. I will attest to that one. Even as somebody like, if you don't like Metroidvanias, it's really well done.
Yeah,
And it's got some really hard boss fights, and I think that's what really gets me with there. It's got a lot of strategy involved with your fighting, and makes it that much more fun.
This game's done though. I kind of want to move away from playing action games. Like I want to play RPGs again.
Yeah.
You know, not that I like will have more time to, like, realistically, like I still have a job and stuff, but you know, at least I won't be worrying about like finishing Lucah on a deadline or something.
So are there any future plans for this? Is there DLC, or are you is Lucah done in its entirety and you're looking to
So there's originally I had a plan where I kind of wanted to do like 3 big updates and like 2 sort of mini campaigns to go on after Lucah, but I got further along with Lucah single player than I expected to, and I kind of like molded what I expected the like epilogue to Lucah to be onto the actual end of the game, which was nice. So that kind of knocked out one of the reasons for making another content update. So I think I'm just going to do one big one that lets you play as Christian, the rival character, with his own story.
That's cool.
It'll sort of put a nice bow onto the whole thing. I think it's not like going to be required like Lucah is a standalone story, but it'll let me do some things I haven't didn't get around to that I kind of wanted to at the start of development. And there's like I guess like the closest is like I kind of want to do a non-story update where I put in some like fun side stuff, like a super long hard dungeon. Like that's something I wanted to have in, but like I couldn't for a release, so I figured that'd be because it's like not pertinent to the story or whatever.
I'm sure you've gotten it before, but some kind of arena mode would be awesome.
That's sort of what that would be. It's like I want to just have it'd be like just like 200 fights in a row.
That'd be awesome.
Not technically endless, because I want to be able to hand design it, but it'll be worth it. And also it will end with a boss fight that I didn't get to do in the main game, but I'm very excited to have people do.
I think I found the code.
You think you did?
I think I did.
I'm gonna be very sad if but I don't know. You've got the Thanatos Anima combination going. That's like one of my favorites when I want to be risky.
Just that damage that it puts out is so good. Alright, so... Oops. Nope, okay.
I'll say it has to do with the tapes.
Okay.
This is a tricky puzzle. Who knew there'd be a puzzle in the game?
I wasn't expecting that.
There are a few solutions to it, though, so you can kind of brute force it if you need to. Like, people seem to get through it, so... That's good enough for me.
Let's see. Yeah, dang it. Health is low. Okay, there we go.
Lord Sloth is suggesting adventure games, and I'm not a huge fan of adventure games for some reason.
Like, are we talking like point-and-click adventure games?
You gotta make that distinction.
It's like nowadays, like an adventure game compared to what it was when I was growing up is very different. Greatly reduces stamina use when at full health. Ooh.
Yeah, adventure games. I don't have a brain for them. Like my brain just doesn't work that way.
Adventure games were the few type of games that we're never able to beat. Yep, King's Quest, never finished it.
I think that's like more along the lines of like a visual novel, like the like Phoenix Wright games or Ghost Trick or something. I can usually wrap my head around those a bit better. But like the straight up like of point and click that like the LucasArts games, I'm not like super great at.
Yeah. I can get that. And I mean, it turns out a lot of people, I mean, a lot of it was just because of the time. Like, I mean, it was the constraints of gaming back then. That was the bulk of it.
Right. I mean, I like the Telltale Walking Dead, which I think is technically an adventure game.
Telltale's done a good job bringing the genre back out and giving it some purchase.
I'm kind of sad that like I feel like Dead came out, right? Like season 1 specifically, and then like no one really did anything like cool to like build off of that. Totally
Yeah.
could have been. So I don't know.
Okay, well, let me see.
I might try that as I expand my. If I don't get swallowed up into my weird idea of trying to play the entire Final Fantasy 13 trilogy.
See, FF13 was one I could not, like, I hated that it took me 20 hours to get to the part of the game that I wanted to play.
one of my very smart critic friends is playing through it for I think the first time right now and has really interesting things to say about it. I think they like it, but like begrudgingly, which is kind of like my favorite reaction to a thing. So I want to see it because of that, and also because I unironically really enjoy the third game, Lightning Returns. I think it's the best Final Fantasy game.
Okay. See, I didn't play any of the spin-offs.
Yeah, I kind of stole the stagger mechanics in Lucah from it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you asked me about games that were an influence on this game. I didn't mention Nier. And Nier Automata. Those are giant influences on this game, especially the way it tells its story. And I can't believe I forgot to say that.
See, and I never would have caught it because that is one series that I've always wanted to play, and for whatever reason, just never got around to.
Automata is very good, and also probably the most approachable. So if you ever get a chance to play it, it's on PC too. So like,
yeah. So I believe I have it wishlisted. It's just one of those. There's too many damn games to play. Like the big thing that I'm gearing up for, aside from Lucah, is Dragon Quest 11. Just because I'm a huge Dragon Quest nerd.
Oh, nice!
And I am so excited to sink hundreds and hundreds of hours into that. I think I had almost 800 hours into Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2. I've just played constantly.
Sorry, I got a message from a friend saying Nier Automata on PC is poorly optimized. Don't play it on PC. So.
Oh, good to know.
Play it on PS4, I guess. It's on Xbox now too, so if you have that.
This was that giant river of light a hazard or just aesthetic? I'm assuming that was back where I was talking to that guy.
It's aesthetic.
It looked like it was just kind of the border.
Exactly.
I forgot how much stamina the freaking thing uses. And I'm just getting my ass handed to me.
If you want a hint, examine the TV in the basement of the house that you'll respawn in. One of the tapes.
Because I watched it. Oh. See, once I was done with it, I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't need to come back.
Yeah. Like the other tape you got to, but like you don't have to.
Do you plan on playing Dragon Quest 11 in one sitting? No.
Real challenge mode.
I have to go to
I never
work.
really got into Dragon Quest, but I admire it a lot. Not just because of its influence, but because they, just seem to be really solid consistently.
Yeah, I mean, they've never necessarily broke the mold, but they just do everything really well. Like
I mean, the first one made the mold.
Yeah,
So.
Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest 1. It was Dragon Warrior when I was playing it on the NES. That was my first RPG. And then FF6 on the SNES was, or 3 at the time is what it was called here in the States. That was when I was like, okay, I really like this.
Related, but a lot of people ask me if I'm influenced by like Earthbound or games like it, and I've literally never played, so it's kind of funny that happened.
It's kind of like I was saying. I mean, people will see what they want to see it, and they'll find little things.
It's
Like,
just
oh,
like
this
the
makes me think of
edgelordy
that.
question,
Right? Yeah. Files to screen. Okay. I think I like this anima first, and then Thanos on the heavy.
It's kind of hilarious because you can just drop it whenever.
Yeah. Okay. So now, let's see. Coming up the Tuesday, like.
Oh yeah.
I take it you're just doing you're trying to go through any bugs that any of us that have our early keys from the Kickstarter, trying to just squish all that out.
That's what I've been doing basically all week. Said like the last like big ones that I want to try to tackle is like all the weird UI things that happen, like that merchant's text showing up gray, or like a few of the keypad numbers not showing up. Just like minor stuff like that to just make it as like seamless as possible. Like it's a messy game, but I want like the parts that are messy to be intentionally messy, and also the things like being able to switch out a full screen not working. I want to fix that. Like hopefully it shouldn't be too much. It just takes a long time to test stuff like that because you have to like rebuild the game every time, which takes a good few minutes. So it's not as simple as just changing a few lines of code,
All right. Well, I think with there we're probably at a pretty good spot. I got all my questions done. My daughter is definitely a little needy at the moment. I don't know if chat has any more. It seems to kind of died down, but I do want to say thank you very much for coming out and doing this with me.
You got through a whole chapter and a half while talking to me, which is pretty good.
I know. I'm gonna have to go back and play though, because like I was kind of reading the text, but at the same time, I don't think I was necessarily comprehending what I was reading. But I've loved every second of it. The combat is just amazing in your game. It is really, really fluid. It plays really well, and anyone that enjoys a good action game, like I absolutely cannot press how much you would like this game.
Very biased, but I will say I think it's a good sign about the game's quality that by playing it 2 years after starting making it, and that like rarely ever happens when you make a game.
Yeah. We got time for one last question here. Lord Sloth, so how much time of your development time was taken up by syntax errors?
Yeah. Too much. Usually that was the sort of thing that like it usually broke everything. So you'd have to fix it immediately or you could play the game.
Alright. Well, with that, thank you again. I do appreciate it. Everybody, this game comes out on the 21st. I'm going to drop the link for you to go and wishlist it. You'll get an email and notification that it is available when it comes out. Colin, what is the price that it's coming out at?
It's coming out for $20 with a 15% launch discount, which I think puts that at like $17.
I think that's right, yeah.
Oh. Yes, be on the lookout. I will say, anyone who's listening, I've extended this offer before, but if you like literally cannot afford the game, because that's very much possible, just message me and I'll get it to you. I want as many people playing it as possible.
Yeah.
When you can.
I can understand that. This game's awesome, and the more people playing, the better it'll do for you. And
Yeah, for sure.
It's really good. And so, where can they reach you at?
I'm at Melessthanthree at Twitter. That's like the word me, and then less, and then than, and then three all spelled out. Also, we have a Discord. I guess you can ask me for the link, and I can give it to you.
Yeah, because that's kind of unofficial, right? Semi.
It's not actually an official Lucah Discord, but we kind of act like it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically just DM me on Twitter, for all of your Lucah needs. So that's the easiest way to reach me.
All right. Well, thank you, and have a good night, everybody. All right, and we're clear of that. Thank you so much, man. I hope it goes well for you.